Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Monday, November 21st, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball plays in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are 5 games in college basketball for Monday. First up, we see a neutral site game between Syracuse and Richmond, a 7 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN2. Syracuse a 3.5-point favorite, total at 139. Now, Syracuse is 2-1 to start the season, 2 wins over Lehigh and Northeastern, and their loss, an upset loss to Colgate, 80-68 in the Carrier Dome. That makes it back-to-back years that Syracuse has suffered upset losses to Colgate. And really, when you look at it, it's not really a surprise that Syracuse has struggled with Colgate these last couple of years because, the one thing that you have to be able to do to beat that legendary Syracuse 2-3 zone that Jim Boeheim uses on defense is make the three-point shot. And when you look at Colgate, this season ranked 26th in the nation so far in three-point shooting it at a 40.6% clip as a team. And last year, the Raiders were ranked second in the country in three-point shooting, 40.3% as a team. So, when you look at this Richmond team, however, they just don't have that kind of success from distance, at least quite right now. In their first 4 games, shooting 30.9% from 3, ranked 221st in the country. And we've seen the Spiders suffer back-to-back losses now, an overtime loss to Charleston in a road game, and then suffering a loss to Wichita State, 56-53 in their most recent game at home. This game's going to be at the Barclays Center. Syracuse has definitely had a lot of experience playing at Barclays Center in recent years, a lot more so than Richmond has. And I do think Syracuse is the better team, and I think this matchup just benefits the Orange just a lot more because of that 2-3 zone. I don't really like the Princeton offense against the 2-3 zone like this. So give me Syracuse laying the points. I think they get a nice signature win. Next up, we see St. John's taking on Temple, another neutral site game in that Empire Classic at the Barclays Center. It's going to be St. John's laying 4.5, total 151.5, and this is a 9:30 Eastern start time on ESPNU. St. John's has had no issues to start the season, 4-0. They're ranked 34th in KenPom. All 4 of their wins, pretty significant, comfortable victories, including their most recent game, a 20-point blowout over Nebraska. They beat Merrimack, Lafayette, Central Connecticut, and Nebraska, and they're playing well on both sides of the ball. They bring back one of the better players in the Big East in Posh Alexander. He's a guy that can do a lot of damage on both sides of the court, a very good defender and a very good scorer and an underrated playmaker as well. And I like this matchup here for St. John's, even though I would say Temple is definitely the toughest test that St. John's has faced this season by far. And I would say Temple, when you look at their strength of schedule, Wagner, Villanova, Vanderbilt, and Rutgers, I'd say a much tougher schedule for the Owls thus far. I still think St. John's is a team to watch out for in the Big East. This is a team that's very, very good defensively, but they're also playing at a great speed offensively, ranked 7th in the nation on average possession length, and they're still ranked 37th in adjusted offensive efficiency. This is a team that can score buckets in a hurry, and they're also really good on the offensive glass, ranked 17th in the nation right now in offensive rebounding percentage. I think that could be a big difference maker in this game when you look at how Temple has actually struggled quite a bit in defensive rebounding, only earning giving up the offensive rebounds on 29.9% of their opponents' missed shots. So I think St. John's is the better team here. I think this matchup benefits them as well. I think we're getting a pretty good price with the Red Storm. So as long as we're getting good prices with them, I'm going to continue to take St. John's here. Give me the Red Storm laying the points in this one. Next up, we see another neutral site game between Rhode Island and Kansas State. Kansas State, a 7.5-point favorite, total at 134. I think even at 134, there's still some value on the under in this game just because neither of these offenses are very spectacular and the defenses are also pretty solid. When you look at Rhode Island, ranked 228th in adjusted offensive efficiency, 306 in effective field goal percentage, 338th in three-point shooting percentage, and one of the worst teams in college basketball, Division I college hoops, in turnover percentage on offense. So losing the ball left and right on offense, and now you're playing a Kansas State team that's ranked 2nd in the country in forcing turnovers on defense. So automatically I am leaning towards Kansas State here laying the points, but I'm not really impressed with this Kansas State offense myself. The offensive rebounding for both of these teams has been good, but I still think that we're going to see both teams struggle to score, struggle to shoot the basketball in this game. We see Rhode Island playing really good defensively against the three-point shot this year, ranked 11th in the country in three-point 3-point defense. Kansas State, like I mentioned, really good at forcing those turnovers. They do it very often, and I do think we're going to see Kansas State, most of their scoring come through the fast break opportunities, but if it gets into the half-court offense, I don't think the Wildcats are going to have much success. So I'm going to take the under in this game. And another thing to mention is Kansas State hasn't really faced a very tough schedule. UT Rio Grande Valley, California, and UMKC. I think this is honestly the toughest test that Kansas State has had this year. So give me the under in this Rhode Island-Kansas State ballgame. Next up, we see the Fort Myers tip-off game between Mississippi State and Marquette. It's going to be at 8:30 Eastern start time. Fox Sports 1. Mississippi State 4.5-point favorites. Total 142.5 right now. I think this matchup benefits Mississippi State quite a bit, and I am willing to lay the points right now with the Bulldogs. You know, Mississippi State hasn't had the toughest of schedules to start the year. Wins over Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Akron, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and South Dakota, but they're still taking care of business. They look real strong in all those games, double-digit wins by far, and some blowout victories as well. And I do think that the big thing that benefits Mississippi State in this particular game is those second chance opportunities, the offensive rebounding. Mississippi State ranked 8th in the country right now in offensive rebounding percentage. And yes, Marquette has improved quite a bit from where we saw them last year in those rebounding numbers, both on the offensive and defensive side. But you got to remember, last year's Marquette team was ranked in the 300s, 325th in offensive rebounding, 314th in defensive rebounding. So Shaka Smart has made big efforts in improving those numbers, but I still don't necessarily trust it at a neutral site game against such a good front court that Mississippi State has. And their defense for Mississippi State ranked 15th right now in adjusted defensive efficiency. They force a lot of turnovers. They're very strong on the perimeter, which is another important thing. When Marquette likes to shoot the deep ball, they shoot a lot of three-pointers, and if you're ranked 16th in the country in three-point defense, I like your chances a lot more. So give me Mississippi State in this game. I like this matchup for them. I'm going to lay the points here with the Bulldogs. Next up, our final game of the night for Monday's card is between Texas State and Cal. We're going to see a 10 o'clock Eastern game on Pac-12 Network. Cal laying 1.5 points, total 127.5. Just goes to show you, when you see this low total, how bad these offenses have struggled. Texas State ranked 330th in the country in three-point shooting and 359th in the country out of 363 teams in free throw percentage, while Cal, on the other side, they're ranked 250th in adjusted offensive efficiency, 343rd in turnover percentage on offense, and they're 0-4 to start the season, losing to UC Davis, Kansas State, UC San Diego, and Southern. And, you look at a Pac-12 team like Cal, you'd say you probably should win at least 3 of those 4 games, especially when 3 of those were at home. But it's been an ugly start to the season for Cal, and even though this is a team in a Power 5, Power 6 conference in the Pac-12, and they're at home for this game, there's just no way I could lay points with the Golden Bears with their current state. And I think the big advantage that Texas State has in this game is, like I mentioned, with Cal struggling with those turnovers, 343rd in turnover percentage on offense. Texas State loves to force turnovers. They like to play pretty aggressive defensively, and they're 20th in the country in turnover percentage on defense. So I think Cal's going to struggle here offensively. Too much for me to lay points. Even 1.5 points is too many right now for Cal to be laying. I lean towards the under, but give me Texas State here plus the 1.5 points to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games we're going to talk about for Monday's card in college hoops. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball plays in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bet, you can always find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.